Hence it is that the larger part of goodness is the will to become good. You know what I mean by a good man? One who is complete, finished, whom no constraint or need can render bad. There is only one good, the cause and the support of a happy life: trust in oneself. But this cannot be attained unless one has learned to despise toil and to reckon it among the things which are neither good nor bad. A good man will not waste himself upon mean and discreditable work, or be busy merely for the sake of being busy. Neither will he become so involved in ambitious schemes that he will have continually to endure their ebb and flow. Nay, when he sees the dangers, uncertainties, and hazards in which he was formerly tossed about, he will withdraw, not turning his back to the foe, but falling back little by little to a safe position. But when a man is struggling towards honorable things, in proportion as he applies himself more and more, and allows himself less and less to be beaten or to halt, I shall recommend his conduct. Work is the sustenance of noble minds. It is your own studies that will make you shine and will render you eminent. But let even your entertainment be work. And even from these various forms of entertainment you will select, if you have been watchful, something that may prove wholesome. I try to extract and render useful some element from every field of thought. Choose as a guide one whom you will admire more when you see him act than when you hear him speak. Cherish some man of high character, and keep him ever before your eyes, living as if he were watching you, and ordering all your actions as if he beheld them, is the counsel of Epicurus. He has quite properly given us a guardian and an attendant. We can get rid of most sins if we have a witness who stands near us when we are likely to go wrong. The soul should have someone whom it can respect, one by whose authority it may make even its inner shrine more hallowed. Happy is the man who can make others better, not merely when he is in their company, but even when he is in their thoughts. And happy also is he who can so revere a man as to calm and regulate himself by calling him to mind. You can never straighten that which is crooked unless you use a ruler. There is another choice also open to you. You may go to the ancients, for they have the time to help you. We can get assistance not only from the living, but also from those of the past. Look into their wisdom as a whole. Study it as a whole. They are working out a plan and weaving together, line upon line, a masterpiece, from which nothing can be taken away without injury to the whole. Examine the separate parts, if you like, provided that you examine them as parts of the man himself. But I spend my time in the company of all the best. No matter in what lands they may have lived, or in what age, I let my thoughts fly to them. To enter, as it were, into the inheritance of many predecessors is a delight. It was for me that they laid up this treasure. It was for me that they toiled. But we should play the part of a careful householder. We should increase what we have inherited. This inheritance shall pass from me to my descendants larger than before. Much still remains to do, and much will always remain, and he who shall be born 1,000 ages hence will not be barred from his opportunity of adding something further. But even if the old masters have discovered everything, one thing will be always new: the application and the scientific study and classification of the discoveries made by others. But it is one thing to remember, another to know. Remembering is merely safeguarding something entrusted to the memory. Knowing, however, means making everything your own. It means not depending upon the copy, and not all the time glancing back at the master. He who follows another not only discovers nothing, but is not even investigating. I shall indeed use the old road, but if I find one that makes a shorter cut and is smoother to travel, I shall open the new road. Each of us lays claim to his own freedom. Men who have made these discoveries before us are not our masters, but our guides. Being trained in a rugged country strengthens the character and fits it for great undertakings. For I force my mind to concentrate and keep it from straying to things outside itself. Our luxuries have condemned us to weakness. We have ceased to be able to do that which we have long declined to do, because sleep is likely to creep over men who support themselves by any prop whatsoever. If you would not have a man flinch when the crisis comes, train him before it comes, with calmness and moderation. Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, "Is this the condition that I feared?" Bring yourself down to humble conditions from which you cannot be ejected, that you will not be doing it under compulsion, and that it will be as easy for you to endure it permanently as to make the experiment from time to time. It is precisely in times of immunity from care that the soul should toughen itself beforehand for occasions of greater stress, and it is while fortune is kind that it should fortify itself against her violence. In days of peace, the soldier performs maneuvers, throws up earthworks with no enemy in sight, and wearies himself by gratuitous toil, in order that he may be equal to unavoidable toil. Now there are short and simple exercises which tire the body rapidly, and so save our time: running, brandishing weights, and jumping, high jumping or broad jumping. We should conduct ourselves not as if we ought to live for the body, but as if we could not live without it. Our too great love for it makes us restless with fears, burdens us with cares, and exposes us to insults. We should cherish the body with the greatest care, but we should also be prepared, when reason, self-respect, and duty demand the sacrifice, to deliver it even to the flames. You will neither lower your weapon nor beg for life. You must die erect and unyielding. What profit is it to gain a few days or a few years? There is no discharge for us from the moment we are born. Let us, however, insofar as we can, avoid discomforts as well as dangers, and withdraw to safe ground by thinking continually how we may repel all objects of fear. What we have to seek for, then, is that which does not each day pass more and more under the control of some power which cannot be withstood. A Holy Spirit indwells within us, one who marks our good and bad deeds, and is our guardian, is near you. He is with you. He is within you, carries all things on his own shoulders. As we treat this Spirit, so are we treated by it. He it is that gives noble and upright counsel. You may therefore be sure that you are at peace with yourself, when no noise reaches you, when no word shakes you out of yourself, whether it be of flattery or of threat, or merely an empty sound buzzing about you with unmeaning din. Do not, however, deem yourself truly happy until you find that you can live before men's eyes, until your walls protect but do not hide you. Real tranquillity is the state reached by an unperverted mind when it is relaxed. Treat your inferiors as you would be treated by your betters, to value them according to their character and not according to their duties. Each man acquires his character for himself, but accident assigns his duties. The happy man is not he whom the crowd deems happy, but he whose possessions are all in his soul, who is upright and exalted, who spurns inconstancy, who sees no man with whom he wishes to change places, who rates men only at their value as men, who takes nature for his teacher, conforming to her laws and living as she commands, whom no violence can deprive of his possessions, who turns evil into good, is unerring in judgment, unshaken, unafraid, who may be moved by force, but never moved to distraction, whom fortune, when she hurls at him with all her might the deadliest missile in her armory, may graze, though rarely, but never wound. For fortune's other missiles, with which she vanquishes mankind in general, rebound from such a one, like hail which rattles on the roof with no harm to the dweller therein, and then melts away.